Hi, this is Grey March, also known in some places as Zula, even Felith, or just Jay. Yesterday, one of my friends texted me about a new game that came out on Steam, Chainsaw Warrior. He said it's about a guy with a chainsaw who fights zombies. And it's October now, so that kind of gets me in the mood for some Halloween-y kind of spooky stuff. Ghosts, goblins, and of course zombies. So I was like, hey, I like zombies. I like killing zombies. Sorry, deviated. But why not try it out? So it was only $4.99 on Steam, so I picked it up. And it's pretty good. Take a look at how it works.
News at 6 for Thursday, October 30th, 2032. Reports are coming in of a major emergency in the heart of New York City. Within the last 2 hours, it has been revealed that the Army Special Forces Unit has sealed off a wide area around the old municipal buildings in the heart of Manhattan, and several violent explosions have been heard. No explanation has yet been given for either these or the isolation of the area, but 40 minutes ago, the head of ASFU, Colonel Miller, announced there would be a press conference at 2100 hours.
Okay, this comic goes on for a long time. We're just gonna skip to the end, okay? Alright, so this is what we've done with the video. Go for our different stats. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is roll your character. Every time you play the game, your character's going to have different stats. So there's your endurance, which is basically, well, what your endurance is. That's mainly used for resisting things like radiation and zombie venom. Wounds, that's for resisting actual damage, as zombies will bite you and dudes will stab you. Hand-to-hand is your hand-to-hand combat ability, which is basically the most important ability in the whole game. Marksmanship will affect your shooting. Usually that's not a big deal. And reflexes is for both seeing if you can actually have time to take a shot at a zombie or something before they get to you, and also resisting some traps. Now you also get skill. You roll randomly. There's a list of skills. Got endurance here, which is even more endurance, so extra resilient. But climbing is by far the best one. So equipment, you get an equipment point allowance that you can spend on different equipment. There's melee weapons, guns, heavy weapons, miscellaneous devices, clothing, and the special is the laser lance, which you need to actually defeat darkness. The guns, it's good to have a gun of some kind. Automatic rifle, I find, is, it's a good standard one. Heavy weapons, the flamer is very useful against the slime. Hand-to-hand weapon. Most of them have special effects, but best is just a chainsaw because it gives +3. Body armor, the rad fiber suit is very helpful. Sometimes radiation will kill you, but I also find IR goggles because half the game is going to be in darkness and giving you a negative, and when you fight darkness at the end, you're going to have a negative. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff. In different difficulties, it'll randomly select what you want, but if you have the choice, you should always take that rope launcher, because yeah, there's some bad things. So the way it gets set up is there's a stack of cards for the rooms. You have 1 hour to find darkness. Darkness is whoever this overlord of the villains is, and he's in the second deck. There's 2 decks of cards, which are the different rooms. He's somewhere in the second deck, so you have to go through at least half of them. Each turn you'll basically flip the top card and it will reveal what it is, and you have to encounter it unless you've got a skill or equipment of something which will let you avoid it. Yeah, and at the bottom of the screen shows the endurance and everything, and the radiation and zombie venom also shows there. Zombie venom only happens if you actually get bit. There's a chance that you get the zombie virus. And from then on, anytime you encounter another zombie, there's a chance that it'll affect you further. So here we go. First door is locked. Ordinarily I would try something, but hey, it's the first door, so backtrack. Chaos Agent. Hand to hand with this guy would be tough. Except that he only has a skill of 9, and since my hand to hand is high and I have a chainsaw, the odds are I'm just gonna smoke him. Yeah, he can't even possibly beat me. Basically, you just roll the 2 dice, add it to his combat, and then we'd roll 2 dice, add it to my combat, and see whoever wins. Oh, Wandering Zombie. That E symbol on the card means that I can't escape. Ordinarily, if you survive 1 round, you can try to escape. Not that I need to. I need to roll more than 4. There we go. Another trap. Oh my god! I fell in. The odds of that were so slim. So that actually is gonna... The damage is bad, but it's the taking up time that's the real problem. Luckily... Oh no, can't use the rope. I need to have the climbing skill. Which I don't. Time is really the thing that gets you in this game. Zombies, you just basically mow through them. Until one gets a lucky hit. Ah, radiation. The mutants are really high hand-to-hand, they're best to shoot. But they do radiation damage before the fight, unless you have a rad counter or a rad suit. That can actually kill you a lot of the time. So I managed to go first, take a shot. Almost everything only takes 1 shot. Secret passage. It is one of those games that, you know, they're going to repeat the cards after every time you play it, so eventually you'll kind of know what's coming, but you can also suit up, try different experiments. Like I've played with different gear. Oh wow, I'm already halfway through. Anyway, now that it's dark, I've got a -1 to hit, or at least I would if I didn't have those night vision goggles. Chainsaw can also chain through doors. Oh, Meat Machine, this thing's a beast. See, it's got a combat of 15, which is pretty much an even roll. I skipped ahead a bit because I figured you didn't want to see me fight like 300 zombies. Okay, take a shot. Take the shot! Ah, I missed. Oh my god! I need to roll boxcars just to drop. No. See, and the Meat Machine does extra damage too. And can... Oh my god. Meat Machine. It's always tempting to use that laser lance, but don't do it. Lucky shot! Lucky shot! When you do a lucky shot, you might insta-kill him, but it might do something bad. Oh, you wound yourself. Figures. Okay, back to melee. Okay, gotta get a little higher than 9. Tied. Try lucky shot again. Flamethrower. Oh, I broke my flamethrower. If I get killed by the Meat Machine. There we go. Oh, and here we are at darkness. You can only kill him with the laser lance or the implosion vest, which is a tie. Fire! Okay, first I have to actually go. Okay, okay. 11! Oh. Nope, I missed. This stupid laser lance only has like 2 shots. Just notice he's got a melee of 20. Does 2 wounds. Alright, lucky shot! Jeez. The laser lance only has 1 shot left. Now you can see why this game is difficult. Oh, Gil needs to take a shot. I missed. And darkness kills me because I'm out of ammo. Okay, so realistically, it's not really all that good. It's kind of repetitive. You're basically just fighting waves upon waves of zombies. Now there's a time and a place for that, but it kind of gets old. The easy setting is, pretty easy, but the hard setting is brutal. It's really more like an old school board game like that. And I did see Games Workshop's name on it. Now there is another version of it available, however, that I think works a lot better than the PC version on Steam. And that is on Android, and apparently on Apple too, but I personally have an Android. Yeah, that's right. Chainsaw Warrior. It plays exactly the same. Let's select easy again. Same horrible intro. And I know you can set that to skip. But yeah, like I said, it plays exactly the same as the PC version. There's no differences. The thing is, I think this game actually works a lot better on the handheld than on PC. It actually has a little bit of strategy to it, but not too much. You can actually pick it up, put it down again, and I found myself playing it on the subway on my way home. You can even play it a little bit on the can if you need to, and the variable difficulty lets you change how you want to do it. I would really recommend Chainsaw Warrior on the handheld as opposed to on the PC. It just doesn't really matter. Like, the PC is just too much for it. It's not enough game for the PC. Now, they're both the same price. A lot of times you get kind of screwed over on the PC, having to pay more for basically the same game. It's $5 either way. They both work out. But in my mind, there's actually only really one way to play Chainsaw Warrior. And that is in the original board game. Alright, so here we are, Chainsaw Warrior, the original, from 1987, Games Workshop. I got this in an auction a long time ago, and it served me well. You'll notice it's not nearly as colorful as the video game version or the app. Here's the mission briefing or rule book. Like all the Games Workshop games of that era, it's not technically very difficult, but they really cover friggin' everything that could possibly happen as far as the rules go. Got 2 dice, small Games Workshop dice. I'm not sure if these are actually the dice that came with it, or if I later added these, because like I said, these are the same size as any Games Workshop, like Warhammer kind of dice. We got our cards, of which there are a lot. We got wandering monsters, or wandering zombies, I should say. It's worth noting, whenever you roll that random chance of having a wandering zombie, it's a specific zombie deck that you flip. So here we go. Standard zombie, combat value. But there's a whole bunch of different ones in there. There's all of your gear, all kinds of different ones. There's also a slight difference, but we'll get to that. Alright, so your corridors, rooms, and elevators, all of this kind of stuff is what the encounters are. A ton of counters. Most of these are just numbers. You put them on, say, like 5 left, 3 left. Those are mainly your ammo counters. There's some special counters as well, which there's nicely a Ziploc bag so you don't get mixed in with all the riffraff. The most important thing, of course, is the comic book that we had at the beginning. So you remember that really god-awful, cheesy, narrated comic at the beginning of the game? Well, It's just as cheesy of a comic in this form, but because it's a black and white and it's like old school comic style, it's a little more forgivable. I'm not going to bother going through the entire thing, but there's some good action, and there we go. Oh yeah, Chainsaw Warrior. The best part about it is on the back, it's got one of those, you know, muscle guy, you know, weakling guy at the beach, but he buys a Chainsaw Warrior t-shirt and it makes him a man. Of course, you can order said t-shirt. Not only that, because this is Games Workshop, there were actual Citadel miniatures that you could buy for the Chainsaw Warrior, with a missile launcher, and with the Reaper. I will note that the Chainsaw Warrior with the blaster looks suspiciously like Sly Marbo. Anyway, so the comic. Yeah, okay. So now I guess the actual important part is the game board. Oh, zombie tracker is loose. It's made up of 4 different sections. You just assemble them like jigsaw pieces. I should probably have the table the other way for this, but hey, what are you gonna do? So they managed to fit a lot of the information on the actual board itself down here. You probably won't need, like if you've played this game once or twice, you actually don't need to really reference the rule book. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here, alright. So first thing we do is we take the house deck, you know, all the corridors and everything, and we go looking for Darkness, because he's the guy we gotta kill. He's in here somewhere. Come on, Darkness, my old friend. He's gonna be on the friggin' top, I know. There he is, Darkness. There. So, we shuffle the rest of these. Split the deck into 2 equal size. If I was going to be a real pro star, I'd count them, but forget that. This one, it becomes House Deck 1. And Darkness gets shuffled randomly into House Deck 2. Basically, all this does is ensures that Darkness will come up in the second half of the game. You have to go through at least half of these cards before you get to them, so it's not a sprint. Okay, then what you do is you generate your Chainsaw Warrior's abilities. Now here's one difference. In the video games, there was actually 3 levels of difficulty. There's easy, medium, and hard. The creation rules are different. In this, there is only hard. There is nothing else. So for endurance, roll 4 dice, add them together. I lost the other die, there it is. 9 plus 5, 13. Pretty good. So you would then keep track of your endurance is here. Where is it? Oh, endurance is there. I had 13, so I place it there. That's basically how this works. You just put a marker over top, and here you've got your marksmanship, your hand-to-hand, your reflexes, and your wounds. I'm not going to bother actually going through all of this, considering you already pretty much saw exactly how it works in the other video. Your time track is up here. There's just basically a simple digital readout token that you put at the beginning, way up here, and then as time goes on, each turn you have to move it. It's a pain in the ass, and half the time you actually forget to do it, so you kind of inadvertently end up cheating a lot. That's the one nice thing about the app slash video game version, is this is all automated for you. One other big difference is in the video game version you get to choose your gear. In this you don't. You always start with the laser lance, of course, because it's the only thing that can actually hurt darkness aside from the implosion waistcoat. So you always stick that down there. Otherwise, you have your guns, you have your devices, of which there's a lot. You have your heavy weapons, you have your clothing, and your hand-to-hand weapons. When you spend your equipment points, what you actually get is a chance to draw one of these cards. Kidding out. Alright, yeah, you get your equipment card. You must pick them at random from the top of the face down pile. So, if I've, how many equipment points? Let's say I had, 5 equipment points. I would spend 3 on a heavy weapon, but I'm randomly choosing it. What do I get? Flamethrower, that's good. Flamethrower is good against the slime. The frickin' slime in the elevator has killed me more times than anything else in this game. Even radiation, which is one of the biggest pains in the ass. So I put that in my heavy weapon slot here. And I have what? 2 points left. Let's get some clothing. And what do we get? Implosion waistcoat. Well, this lets you suicide yourself when you're fighting darkness, and it makes the game a draw. But believe me, a draw is sometimes enough. And lastly, device. Geiger counter. This lets you avoid mutant things, which is also very handy. Radiation for mutants, second most common thing that'll kill you in this game. If I was actually playing this, it would be horrible. In the video game, because you can choose, you can always kit out with the best stuff, namely the chainsaw, because that gives you +3 to your hand-to-hand. You can just mow through zombies like no tomorrow. The night vision goggles, so you don't get the penalties at night. And the rope gun. Oh my god, if you roll the climbing skill, you don't need it. But if you don't have a climbing skill, you have to get the rope gun or you basically failed if you come across the chasm card. The chasm card adds so much time if you don't have that you might as well just quit that. But yeah, like I said, the game basically plays exactly the same. What you do, you just move the time token down 1 and then you draw the first card. Oh look, a zombie, strength 7. Zombie rolls nads. Oh, he's got 6, so that's what, 13. And then I would take my, well, this would be hand-to-hand. You get a chance to take a shot if you want. But if I got a hand-to-hand of, in this case, where was my hand-to-hand? I never actually chose it. Let's just say it's 12. Oh hey, look, I got 20. I beat him. He's dead. Move along. So the game works exactly the same. However, because this is an old school solo board game, the difficulty is a good thing. It can take a long time and it can be really fiddly with all these pieces. Realistically speaking, I think the app version is probably the best one to have. A lot of times the advantage of playing a board game versus an app with your friends is that, playing a board game with your friends instead of an app or a video game is the fact that you're all there together and there's camaraderie. But with this, it's a solo game, so it doesn't matter. Still, there's a charm to it. I've only ever won the board game version of this once. I won on easy, I admit. The second time I played it on the app, it just doesn't feel like quite the same level of accomplishment. Even though my friend Ryan allegedly beat this the very first time we tried it, which we just refer to as the epic fluke. Well, I hope that answers some questions about Chainsaw Warrior. I've been meaning to actually make a video about this game for a long time, and then when the app came out, I was like, well, I guess I better do it. So yeah, Chainsaw Warrior, it's a classic in my opinion. I would definitely recommend the app version if you can find a copy of the board game for cheap somewhere. It's a nice little nostalgic bit. I wouldn't really recommend the Steam version though. You're just going to get bored of it really, really quick. As an app or novelty board game though, I would definitely recommend Chainsaw Warrior.